Yeah, so here we go again. I've been shopping. Hi, I'm Ben. This is my substitute for psychotherapy. Talk to myself for a while. What's on my mind and so on. Side note: I am autistic. I guess might as well disclaim that if I'm disclaiming who I am. It's not me, but I am. So you know. Been shopping today. Overall, I've been highly productive today, in my book at least. I only got out of bed at noon, not awoke, but out of bed. That's a big difference. Um, Managed to apply at one company, which I've been meaning to apply for quite a while, and then I managed to invite myself to somewhat interview at another company, which isn't looking for a job, isn't looking to offer any jobs at this time. Today's snack is hard-boiled eggs, by the way. Sorry for the noise. Uh, I went for a walk. I done my shopping, so that's pretty solid. Of my shopping, a sixth was just cola. A 12th was other drinks. About a quarter, bit more really, was milk, more like a third. And then I got some other snacks like hard-boiled eggs, some gorgonzola cheese. Just the things you need in life. It's hella warm. I'm sweaty. My palms are heavy. What's the temperature? Let me check. Temperature is 27.5 degrees centigrade, so yay. That's a lot. Considering it's 10 to 9 in the PM and it's dark outside. I am thinking I'll end up at my former place for internship, though I don't like the wage proposed. At this time, they are in need of someone, and many other places appear to not be, though I haven't taken off the option of other places. I'll at least try and get an interview at the place I applied at today. Not the place I interviewed at today and invited myself, but the place I'd sent my invitation to today. Not invitation, application. Their language is hard, you know. I know for a fact they pay better wages, but I also think it's highly likely they do also not need someone in my role and capacity at this time, because they have no listings. The places with listings, oddly enough, are the places that tend to not get back to me for some odd reason. But oh well, you know. Worst it's worst, I believe I still got a job lined up because they said, oh yeah, we'd like you to have explored all the options before you come here, which I understand as the offer still being in the room. With that interview, a lot of benefits were mentioned and so on. One thing they did not mention, but I think they might have considered implied, which I did not consider implied, which is just breakdown in communication due to lack of explicitity, is the idea of them paying my further education. Because I highly suspect they would. Because, to be fair, with the wage they proposed, I would not be able to pay for it myself. And they were open for the idea of me continuing my education, becoming a limited electrician, I guess is the best term to use the language in English, to describe the profession in the English language. There we go. And with the proposed wage, I do not think it reasonable for me to afford that. They know the wage they proposed. They agreed to be fine with me continuing my education and qualification. So I reckon I might have just misunderstood, or they might have not said, and will pay for your education, because to be fair, that's for me the primo benefit of a job. Had they explicitly stated so as a benefit, I would have probably been in for the wage, because one has to consider it part of one's wage, because in the end of the day, one is higher qualified after the day, due to money having been spent by the company. If that were the fact, I probably could have saved all this job hunt, and then again, I feel I owe it my future self to at least have tried, so here I am. The place today, they knew one of my colleagues of my former place for internship. Language hard. oddly enough, the only one that is currently on holiday, so, you know. I hadn't considered it an interview. I'd more consider, is it worth to apply there or not? Because not strictly speaking film, it's film among other things, and I have bachelors in film, so, you know. But turns out, they are very open to me, it's just not at this time, which is understandable. They didn't ask for me to apply. And it ended up being somewhat of an interview, and I was not freshly shaven, I guess. Then again, I do not believe that left a bad impression. Because, I mean, I'm dressed in a fancy shirt. These days it have become my uniform, though I don't have enough to not do my laundry for weeks. I have enough to get away with a couple of laundries a week and wearing shirts all day, you know. Hard-boiled egg. Fuck yeah. I've also got my curriculum. I'm not going to dox myself and show the front side, but I've got my curriculum on board at all times. In case an opportunity come up, I want to have it with me, so I do. But I'm not under pressure, strictly speaking, with getting a job or taking this one at my former place of internship. But the pressure is getting to me, though there is not supposed to be any. I mean, I've decided to force myself to at least wait until the end of next week before I take the offer or disclose to them I'm not interested. I'm leaning more and more toward taking it, but never know what come along, you know. But still, I feel a lot of pressure about it, which is odd because there isn't any from the outside. The only pressure is in here, you know. Oh, actually, let's do that for thumbnail. In here, you know. In here, yeah. There we go. That's a thumbnail. Oddly enough, I'm just wearing a shirt and I'm sweaty AF because it's pretty hot outside still. Opening the windows, not going to get much of a breeze because there isn't much of a breeze outside. Drink of choice today is some more tap water, but I am running low because I did go for a walk and I did not replenish my tap water after I last drank some. Who would have thunk running out of tap water, you know? Apparently that's a thing one can do if one drink the tap water removed from the tap. Yeah, so I am still enthusiastic about getting a job, and I am still enthusiastic about taking the job at my former place of internship. It's just I would have hoped for more pay. Then again, pay is secondary. I know the place, which means I know all the green flags and I know all the red flags. Pay being a major red flag, but that was known ahead of time, I guess. I'll just have to find out. I mean, tomorrow I might very well still write another application and send it out, and perhaps send it out and do an uncalled for visit at the place I'll be applying at, because tomorrow night is Friday night. I mean, people are there till closing, but it's not like they're busy working all the time. At least most normal people I've ever met aren't. I myself was, but I am the exception, admittedly. Then I might just invite myself there. Just say, want to see if you're interested. I'm in the area. Mind if I drop by? I can be there in 20 minutes, you know. Just because I feel that's a way better way of getting reactions out of people by actually just showing up, than writing an email with a faceless persona. Because at the end of the day, once they see me as a human, they realise I am not an addict, at least not in the conventional sense of drug addict. I do smoke, admittedly, but only non-smokers will smell that, and they'll also smell I made an effort to hide it, you know, so... Plus, that's something that can change. But they know the fact that I can show up someplace and that I do wear PPE shoes, etc. I mean, the lowest grade PPE shoes, but still, I will not enter a place where that is prescribed without wearing them, because I like my feet and I only have two of them. And I need both of them to walk, And having a crippled foot because you don't wear the right shoes seemed like a stupid way of crippling your foot. Especially if you have the right shoes. I mean, if you don't have the right shoes and you don't have a choice, you don't have a choice, But the moment you have the right shoes, which I believe legally your employer have to provide for you if you don't already have them. Even for interns, it's just it's a stupid tax. The tax for being stupid, that is not a tax that is stupid. I don't know, my shopping today is really rather heavy. I have gotten a few things that'll last for a long time, like some maize or corn wraps. They're vacuum sealed, so they'll last a long time before they go bad. It's just, I believe, a healthy habit, because one day one might be ill and not be able to leave house or quarantine or whatever. I guess that's me being influenced by the pandemic, but I've done things like this before, so who knows? Me being influenced by my dad growing up in the Cold War, perhaps. Who knows? But I like having supplies, and I got some supplies again, I have actually considered doing a can. Then again, I haven't eaten all the pierogi yet. Oddly enough. Meant to about a week ago, but I still have one packet remaining, and I reckon I'll do that tonight. It's honey and cheese pierogi. I've already got the pan dirty with pierogi stuff, so, well, grease and pierogi remnants, I guess. And that's been 10 minutes since I've had the ignition on, which was when I checked the temperature. There we go. Some fans. I have fans in the car, That's absolutely lovely, because that do actually cause a slight breeze. Yeah, so the place I went by today, they made a good impression. I believe I made a good impression. They asked me to send them my application, even though they aren't looking for anyone at this time. But I guess that means they might reach out to me in future. So I want to give them a future-proof email for sending in that application, not a spam email I'll delete in half a year. But that'll work out, And I mean, eventually, I hope my wage increase no matter where I am. But there's only so much I can tolerate in lack of wage increases before I have to go looking someplace else. In which case, I might as well be prepared in case the wage increases are not a given, wherever I end up, that is. So diversify my options, same as any business I've got to do. They can't have one person do all the qualification, be the only one to be allowed to drive a lorry and be an electrician and be allowed to check ladders and be allowed to check trusses. That's kind of putting all your eggs in one basket. Ha! How ironic, I actually got an egg in my hand. It's not in a basket, but still, And I'm actually peeling it into the ashtray just because I cleared out the ashtray and there's a good place for something as inert as eggshell. It's not going to rot in there. Yesterday I spent all day in limbo. Not great, but it is necessary every now and then, because I am but a human, apparently. So, didn't even get to play video games yesterday or nothing. Then again, today I've been somewhat productive, I guess. Sent out an application. Agreed to send out an application at another place with a somewhat interview, I guess. I got to talk with the head of the company, so, could be worse. It's almost weekend again. Crazy how time fly when you don't got a job. Well, when you got a job, it also fly. Then again, days are a very short time. I mean, even on a human life scale, on the planet life scale, days are nothing. And beyond planetary life, days don't mean a thing, because days are defined by revolutions around one's own axis facing the sun. Oh, and I did tank today. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but got a spot on 20 litres, so that's a solid one. Got another receipt for when I need to take my reserves across the border and back again and have too much on board to legally import. This way, because the burden of proof is on me as the potential importee, I'd be able to prove purchase in Germany. It's actually quite crazy how many receipts I have at any point of the recent past of having tanked in Germany. It's almost as if I lived here, you know. No longer tap water. Latte macchiato iced from the supermarket. Not economically responsible to buy, but you know, some might argue hard-boiled eggs aren't responsible to buy. I'd say they are very much so responsible to buy, because if I boil them, either I heat up the kettle and then put on the stovetop for one egg or two, and then I have to clean up my pot, or I pre-boil them and risk them spoiling because I am not painting the outside of them. And boiling get rid of all the natural protection on the outside of the egg. So, you know, the egg shell, that is, on the outside of the egg shell. I am actually looking forward to having a job, no matter where I end up getting a job. It's just the structure in my life will be of great benefit to me, and I'll much appreciate it. So if you're in the Berlin area, you're looking for someone to do with lighting storage or something else you can motivate me for, feel free to mention it. Ha ha. Odds are nothing's going to come out of this, but you never know, you know. You never know. I only realised recently, I'm hella good worker for most wage points. Might sound arrogant with this. I don't believe it is arrogance. It's just the TISM give me some advantages in a lot of aspects of storing things and sorting them and so on. And the TISM is something not everyone can bring, you know. I do. I got the highly functioning TISM, so the best kind. Well, for me that is. For someone else, a different kind of TISM might be better. For interacting with the outside world, it probably is objectively the best kind. Then again, interacting with the outside world might not be the most aspirable thing. So, I believe I do leave good impressions no matter where I go for interviews or meet people, so I guess that's something. Then again, I thought a lot about life, the world, and all kinds of things, you know. Having been depressed since I was, 13 was my first diagnosis. Now I'm 25, so that is ballpark half my life. Most of the time I was alive as a human, not just some small thing. I've thought about a lot of things, and I guess that reflection does come out when I talk with people. Then again, on some other levels, I am still quite retarded in the clinical sense. Someone could give me 5 hints of something and I won't get them. Oh well, you know. Yeah, anyways, I reckon I'll get home, hopefully play a bit of video games. Perhaps not, I don't got too much energy today. I did go for a 4K walk, though admittedly it was only 4K. It was in 35 degrees centigrade weather, so could have been colder. Had a couple of funny traffic interactions today. One time, oncoming traffic, only one car, left turner, pulled into my lane before I even left at my lane, and they weren't even halfway in the junction, which means I then just pulled in front of them and they had to reverse up because, where else am I going to go? I can't teleport through you. And the other was a van with a Berlin reg, so someone who should know these roads. Presumably they've driven them before. Running a red left turning light as the straight light turned green. Tooted my horn, the car in front flashed their lights, managed to get them to stop, so that worked out. And it seemed kind of odd, but the car in front weren't too great either. They were doing like 25 when the speed limit was 50. Which, according to paragraph 3, number 2 of the German rules of the road, you can only do if you have a very good reason. I believe they did not have a very good reason because there was plenty of space to any obstructions on the side of the road hiding potential children. They were evidently not looking for parking as they continued beyond where I did. There was one car in front, so it was not an overly complex traffic situation. I do not believe they had a very good reason to be going slower, besides the fact they might have misinterpreted signage, which would make me question the fitness of the driver. Then again, I am myself a driver, and someone else might say, question that person's fitness, so we kind of need a standard for that, One thing I can proudly say is I tend to only go slowly if I have a very good reason. And when I say very good, I mean very good. As in legally upholding, withstanding reasons. For example, looking for parking. I do drive a bit slower when I'm looking for parking because one can't decelerate with infinite speed. In fact, one would most certainly fall apart into blob or so. You never know, Yeah, so anyways, this bomb my update, obligatory due to having gone shopping. Not compulsory because no one's forcing me to, but obligatory because I feel I have to. I owe it to my future self to make sure I'm mentally sane and stable. Which is interesting enough a question I had to answer on the day of my defence of my thesis. Do you feel you're mentally sound? Because apparently I don't know how they can ask you that and take your word for it, because if you're not mentally sound, it's not like you're going to say so. That'd be kind of an odd situation, And after the fact, you can always say, I went mentally sound, and then give your arguments as to why, but who knows. Anyways, I hope you're also mentally sound. Thank you very much for watching and sticking around. It means the world to me. Stay safe. Cheerio.